Waiting on God feels like a spiritual DMV, except instead of a number, you've got silence and maybe a Dove chocolate wrapper for encouragement. What's up, warriors? I'm Zook. I help Christian dads find their purpose, sharpen their skills, and build the life they've always dreamed of. Today, I'm going to share with you 3 tips on why waiting doesn't take as long as you think. All right, so let's jump into it. So number 1 is waiting doesn't equal wasting. Bro, God is not ghosting you. He's just operating on eternal Wi-Fi, which sometimes feels like it has lag. Remember this, man. There's our time versus God's time. You need to think about what is he trying to show you in the current moment. A lot of time we need to take steps back so that we can pinpoint where exactly we went wrong with our choices, because there are always consequences to them, whether that's good or bad. Something that can be really helpful is that you start journaling daily so that you can actually go back through your logs and you can actually see the progress, and maybe you can do notes. So something that I do in my journal, I kind of interview myself every 10 days and see what was working, what wasn't. And I do celebrate my wins. That's something that you can never go wrong on, is if it's 1 or 2 wins, those are freaking massive. I mean, if you're starting out here and you've done 1 step to get you here, just a little bit above where you were last time. Dude, that's what it's about. It's about gradual progress. Also, too, it's good to think about that whenever you hyper-focus on something, so you're super fixated on it, you can get so much freaking done so fast. However, that means no interruptions. None. You don't need your phone near you. And, man, if it's on your computer, you need a sort of browser extension to block distractions. There's this one called Self-Control. It is free, but it doesn't have all the bells and whistles, so you can actually time it to actually start working automatically. You have to manually do it, and you can actually type in the amount of time, whether that be maybe 30 minutes or they could be hours. But I will tell you, once you do program at a time to block certain sites, it can even block the internet, I believe. I mean, that will happen, and there's really no way around it, I guess, unless you're an expert hacker. It can be really beneficial for you. And then there's another one that I just got, and I heard about this through Pat Flynn. You guys should totally go check out his stuff. Pat Flynn's got some amazing content. And it's called Cold Turkey. And right now I think it's like $40, $39, $40. And you get a lifetime membership to it. It's a Chrome extension, and it allows you to even schedule times that throughout the week that it will start blocking certain websites, or even, I think it can actually even block the internet too. That will greatly help you hyper-focus. Maybe you can have a cup of tea, cup of coffee, but I wouldn't have food because, sometimes that makes a mess, and then we get distracted and we'll wipe it off our shirt, we'll wipe it off the table we're working on, and yeah, don't even eat. Don't even go to the bathroom. I know it's gonna suck. I mean, if you have to go really bad, then do it. But remember, that can destroy your focus, because it'll take you about 20 minutes or so to get right back into the zone. So do everything you need to before you start your big commitment for the day. And that's gonna lead us into step 2, which is, what do you do while you wait? You can grow, you can serve, and take a step back and breathe. You don't need to keep refreshing your prayer life like it's Amazon tracking, bro. Because remember, God works at a different level than we do. So we need to view ourselves from the outside in and just see what's more important, things that we want or things that God wants. Something that I personally found out is that hobbies are freaking great for this. Especially not hawking, especially hiking. You can get a few guys together, and I call this fellowshipping instead of fellowship. There's something to say whenever you can grow closer to each other over a freaking hike, because the conversations that come up, the amount of jokes and certain situations that arise while you're challenging yourself, it's freaking amazing. And at least for me, I found out, because I've done all sorts of things. I would get some guys together to go biking, and I would end up being far ahead of them because I've cycled for years. And some of these guys, they've only cycled for months. When I try to look back over my shoulder while I'm biking like the Wicked Witch of the West, I would look and nobody would be there. So for me, hiking tends to be best. And 2, if you happen to come across some really cool terrain, that can make for some thinking outside the box moments for you guys, and you can collaborate. Bro, and remember, the certain friends you have are key to not just your financial success, but your personal success, and even your success when it comes to Christ. And I don't mean that you need to rely on them for that relationship. You need to rely on you and God. But I mean, you have your bros to hang out with to hold you accountable. I have maybe just a few close friends. You don't need hundreds of friends. You need about 3 to 5 close ones. And the other friends will pretty much just distract you away from your purpose. I'm not saying that you're a horrible person if you have that many friends, or if you need to kind of kick those friends to the curb, which I'm not saying that. You just need to set boundaries, and you need to start distancing yourself. Like, there are just a lot of people trying to pull your attention and your focus away. You're not gaining much from it. So be careful, bro. And when you knock out your challenges, here's something else to think about. Go on a random adventure or do something really cool to reward yourself for your accomplishments for the week. A lot of people don't. And I'm like, man, there's so much that goes on behind the scenes when you're trying to knock out your purpose. You need to just pay attention to what you're actually doing. What you can do, because I've done this and I thought it was cool. You can get a little jar and you can write down things that you might have knocked out this week. Or maybe you can write down some things that don't even relate to your purpose, but things that you accomplish throughout the day. Whether that's worked a full shift without thinking anything negative, maybe you were able to serve other people, or maybe that your car didn't even crap out. Like, because I've all of that I have been through. So just think about stuff like that. And then when you actually see that jar build up with all these positive moments, dude, I'm telling you, dude, that flips a script for you. And it's really cool what can happen from that. And now that's going to lead us to our third and final step. Faith is built on the not yet. Joseph waited 13 years. And bro, you've only waited 13 minutes and you've already checked your Instagram 4 times. If you look up to people and you look up to them because of the life that they've personally lived, or others maybe who are like celebrity type status, and you see their lives and you know that they have been through the fire. And for them, they had to deal a lot with the no, not yet, wait. Some of it was from people, but some of it also was from God. He's like, man, how can I give you this if you haven't even been through this? You have to understand the importance of not just your mindset, but like wisdom and what you can gain through making wise choices. Because let's just say if you want like $1 million, but you've never worked before, you're living home in your mama's basement, all you do is video game, all you do is eat a lot of junk food, you're going to get those results for your body, for your mind. Like it's just horrible. If all you do is play video games and you're freaking obsessed with something that isn't really going to help you grow. And then the other two, you can work out of that. I mean, there's no problem living at home with your parents as long as you're saving up to kind of eventually start your own life. But we want all of this stuff, and we don't want to go through the waiting and refining process to get to what God wants us to do, how he wants us to live our lives, because he all wants us to live our life of freedom. But a lot of time we have the blinders on and we're not even paying attention. Or when we do pay attention, it's at the wrong things. like for me, many years ago, I've been sober from alcohol, drinking and drugging, and it's wild. Like, they'll still be some of the friends I used to hang out with, and they'll still be living through that phase, and they even have families, man, and they have jobs or even businesses. But for me, it took an instance of wrecking my car, almost killing people because I wasn't sober. And that was God kicking me in the butt, just saying, dude, you need to wake up. But I was wanting things to happen instantly. Because of that, I made a lot of poor choices by hanging out with the wrong people. And I started drinking, and then eventually started getting addicted to pills. And then that went on for quite a while. Until my accident, and I'm like, I need to stop doing this. And that's when God finally got a hold of me. Sometimes you need to get to a level where you're pretty much rock bottom for him to get your attention, because we're distracted by so much trash nowadays. All right, bro, now I want you to tell me in the comments down below, what is one thing you've been waiting for? Drop it below and I will wait with you, maybe while eating a packet of tuna. Yeah, that's my thing right now. All right, bro, till the next one, I'll see you. Bye.